for ourselves.
Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm sorry we're running a little bit late, and I know it's happy hour in a little bit, and we'll be getting there in time. We'll try and facilitate this as quickly as possible. But again, another round of applause for Lord Monckton for being here. He had the opportunity to be at the Liberty Tour earlier in the about a month ago, and we didn't quite have all the radionics down, and so it was a little bit garbled, but it's nice to have him here in person. And all I can say to him, if he comes to cowboy country, he's got to wear cowboy boots. Yeah. He's got the hat down, but wear the boots. Okay, the raffle. Mike's back there with the raffle tickets, and you know, he's guaranteeing you a win tonight. All you need to do is just shell out the money. That's all you need to do.
Christmas party.
What's that?
For the Christmas
party. Christmas party. Is that the Christmas party? Yeah. No, we need $20 a person for the Christmas party.
26.
Well, Mike's going to pick up the other $6. There you go. Special tea party discount. Before I kind of get started in my little spiel, I want to thank everybody for being here, because we have been pounding on the table for years now about the tea parties and how effective the tea parties have been. And tonight's a good testament of that. Having a packed house for Christopher Monckton, and we want to see everybody out here, because we got to make some real clear points to the totalitarians out there. And that is this: we will not submit. Period. And it is the fact that you are here, the simple fact that you are here, that you stand against them. And guys like Jerry Brown can't stand that. Yeah. I don't think Christopher Monckton understands. He's probably only about, 30 miles away from us right now, sleeping at his ranch. A nice little thing going on. Let's speak about Jerry Brown's ranch just for a second. How many of you know that his ranch sits right on top of the Monterey Shale? That's oil shale. And it was the good work of Red Smith and Agenda 21 Radio that exposed the fact that he was drilling water wells on his property. 8 of them. I talked to the driller.
Taxpayer money.
And there's only one reason that those wells are there. For fracking on his ranch.
He's a hypocrite.
Oh, you think? Besides being a flake. But this is the kind of stuff that we're doing, and I'll tell you what, it led to a whole range of investigations that we've been conducting and still are conducting about Jerry Brown. We're going to out Jerry Brown here a little bit. We are investigating him, and what we have found will destroy him. It's really only a matter of time that these totalitarians continue to fall. And you're witnessing right now a historic event that we have not seen the likes of since the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Thank you, Alan.
It is the reconstitution of the Communist Party, of the totalitarians after the fall of the Berlin Wall, that they said, oh, we just disappeared, we're going away, and there's no more need to, the West to be concerned about totalitarians, communism, Nazism, Islamism, and so on.
They deserted.
All they did was change, and as I was telling you, you've heard this story from me when I went to the Church of St. Nikolai in Leipzig, and I interviewed Friedrich Mercurius, one of the founders of the Monday Masses that led to the collapse of East Germany, of the East German government, and ultimately the Berlin Wall falling. The last question I asked of Friedrich was the biggest question of all. This is in 1992. I said to him, Friedrich, the communists are gone. There's no more communists in East Germany. I said, where did all these good communists go? And he looked at me and said, this is the last question. I almost forgot to ask the question in a 3-hour interview. It was the only question I wanted to ask. Jerry. It's Jerry Brown.
He's got minions everywhere.
Hello, are we back on? Oh, okay. All right. I said to him, so where do these communists go? And you know, he looked at me square in the face. And if you see it on our website and you go to Google Friedrich Mercurius, you'll see the picture I took after he answered the question. He looked at me and said, oh, they all became environmentalists. That was in 1992, 1 month after, a month and a half after they signed the Rio de Janeiro Accord for Agenda 21. You see, they just reconstituted themselves. They just shapeshifted. And they became this totalitarian organism that we have right now with Agenda 21. And the monsters are going to play it out. And that's why I'm here. First, I'll take questions, as I normally do, after I pontificated. Any questions that you want answered, generally I can answer as a radio talk show host. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, the question is, and I think that was alluding to somebody else's question here tonight. Donald Trump entertained Al Gore today at Trump Towers.
Oh no. Beheading.
And the first thing I did is I drove off the side of the road when I heard that.
Oh, right. Yeah. By the way, you know,
And then I recentered myself in the center line thinking kamikaze. But I said, no, I centered myself back up, and I said, you know, Donald's got it under control. But then I heard he met with Henry Kissinger today. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, what's really going on? That's the second or third time I think he's met with Henry Kissinger. And I have a lot of faith in Donald Trump, and when I don't have faith in Donald Trump, I will tell you, of course. But, you know, there's a lot more to what's going on than we perhaps even understand. And I think obviously it's an exploratory thing. If he comes out and says Al Gore is going to be the, head of the EPA, then I think we all need to, it'll be 4 years. But I don't think that's happening. How many of you noticed that this guy's like really shrewd? Isn't it great? And what did he do to China the other day? I'm going to give you the backdrop on that in a little bit. Mr. Monckton, you didn't bring your boots today. I just had to point that out to you. So maybe the Southern Buttes Tea Party will get you a pair of boots. What size do you wear in American? 11? 11 American. 11 and a half, all right.
As soon as Paul's done, it'll probably be
Oh, he says it's...
Both my pairs of cowboy boots are in storage because we've just moved house. My lovely wife, for some reason, keeps trying to throw them away. But I'm particularly fond of the pair of snakeskin boots that I got off eBay for $10.
Oh, jeez.
And I used to drive around on my Ducati motorbike, and it made other bikers fall off because they thought it was so peculiar.
Okay, Cal Exit, and what's going on with Cal Exit. This is a very serious attempt by very rich people to break up the union, to break up our union, to form 49 states out of 50. Do the math. Cal Exit is an illegal, unconstitutional secessionist movement. And quite frankly, we'll make it public tonight, I'm going to encourage people to investigate seditious activity by many of the members that are leading the movement.
Yeah.
And that is in part because of a visitor that we had last week, or 2 weeks ago, to this meeting. How many of you remember the Mexican fella that was here?
Yep.
At the last meeting we had the movie Vaxxed, and you probably saw me sitting over there. My iPad was lighting up, my phone was ringing, I was getting texts, 25 calls in a period of about a 30-minute period. I'm going, what the heck is this? I just came to the tea party. And it was all about this meeting that was held in Sacramento outside of Natomas. The Mexican consulate was there. Members of La Familia Nuestra were there. Members of La Raza were there. De Leon, Kevin De Leon, Senate Pro Tem was there. Rennet, the Assembly Speaker, was there, amongst other Assembly and Senate members. 5, I said 2 originally because that's what my notes were telling me when I was getting in here that night. 5 members of the Obama administration were present.
Plans.
5. We have a 2-page list, single space, of other members that were there. It's shocking. They were talking about, well, if it doesn't go to Cal Exit, and we can't do this peacefully, how are we going to destroy California and make it into our state, our nation? What is the revolutionary tactics going to look like? And this man who is here, you may have heard, he's talking that he was in the meeting. He was in the meeting and he said, how many white people can we kill? That's sedition. When you have the Mexican consulate there, you have members of La Familia Nuestra there, you have members of La Raza there, and they're talking about killing Americans to take over and seize a new country. Yeah. Well,
Let the cities of LA, San Francisco form their own nation. We'll have our own California back then. We don't have to put up with this bullshit.
well,
Going on in California for the last 20 years.
okay, let me tell you something. It's not going to stop there.
No.
It's not going to stop there. What we're getting right now is data pieces that are coming back from Tijuana. If you saw some of the stuff that's appearing on Facebook about large numbers of immigrants that are coming across the border unchallenged, that are occurring, check out my Facebook. It's not going to stop there. This whole invasion that we're seeing right now is not about immigration, it's about invasion.
Yes.
Now, we are moving this along with other people, other sources, because we think this is seditious behavior. We think it's serious behavior. When they start coming out, and I didn't say it, the guy in the back room said it, I had heard it, I verified what he was saying. You know, this is the way things work. This is what's going down. And we have to be ready for this.
What's your point of view of the wall then?
Of the wall?
Fence.
We need the wall.
Fence.
And I in all respect to Mr. Monson here, we need the wall. And again, it's more of a state. It works actually if you go down to San Ysidro and you see the wall that they have built. I'm not a supporter of walls, by the way. And I think what he's talking about is the right way to do it. But we are in a critical time in our history when we are being invaded, and that is that one deterrent right there. It's a deterrent. Maybe it'll come down later or whatever. But I can tell you that when they built that wall, how many have been down to San Ysidro and seen the wall? Crime went to nothing in the San Diego area there. It's still that way. So I support that. Cal Exit. Here are the people that are the money people behind Cal Exit. George Soros. 3rd time removed. And now, our sources for this are from the Secretary of State's office. Red Smith is the person who got this data. He saw the data. We went back to retrieve the data that I'm telling you right here, and they took it down. It's off the Secretary of State's information, but we've seen it. The other one is the Ryoshi Sasakawa Foundation. Ryoshi Sasakawa Foundation. Hold that thought. And now another player that just came in, and this is as a result of yesterday's, I think it was the LA Times, and that was Tom Steyer. Tom Steyer has now thrown his billions behind this movement. So this is how serious it is. Now, if you go to YouTube, and you just happen to be one of these YouTubers and play in that facility, and play in that environment, you'll notice that as of Sunday, there's literally hundreds of Cal Exit YouTubes out there, short 15, 10-minute YouTubes, and they are professionally manufactured. They're just absolutely exquisitely done. But again, they're talking about Cal-Exit in the sense that we're going to secede from the nation. Now that brings up the state of Jefferson. The state of Jefferson is not a secessionist movement. It's a legal, lawful movement following the Constitution of both California and the United States Constitution. We're perfectly within our legal rights to be doing what we're doing, talking and saying, and doing the things that we're doing. We're perfectly legal to do that. It's perfectly legal to form a 51st state, which we will do. I can tell you without compromising some confidences, but there's a lot of support growing around the nation for Jefferson.
Yeah.
And the more exposure we have for Jefferson, the better it's going to be. Soon, we hope to have a meeting in which we're going to sign a Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
How many would show up for that? That's American history right there.
Can it be on a Friday?
But we have a lot of things going on. There's a lot of people pushing back. If you think that these people are going to lay down and surrender to Jefferson, that's not true. When we get some of our cell phones pinged 50 to 70 times a day from hackers, we in the movement, we understand they're looking. And these are not small players. We are facing the one world order, folks. The battleground is California. The battleground is Jefferson. It is here, it is now. And they are putting on a full court press starting in the last couple of weeks. It's not about Trump. Trump's the excuse. They want our resources and they want to be the dictators. How many of you have been asked whether or not you want to become part of Cal-Exit? Hello? They're taking the position, we're telling you what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And they're doing it by YouTube, by Facebook, and all the different social medias. That's called a dictatorship. Kind of like what we're living in right now, right?
Oh yeah.
With Jerry Brown? Kind of the same thing. Yeah.
No.
Secede. To form a new country called California. And the El Presidente is going to be Jerry Brown. That's true.
So all the rest of the states,
49 others.
We'll do it pretty soon.
a new union, California will be the HCDs.
You know, like a teacher, I'm going to simplify some things for you. Okay? Imagine this flag right here. How many stars does it have on it?
That one fit.
Once Cal-Exit was to happen, if it was, and it's not going to, it's an illegal movement. And you see, that's what these people are butted up against. They realize, and I think they actually listen to my radio show or they see the videos that we've done. Because when they put their little petition in, they've got this up for a referendum here coming up in 2018. A plebiscite, they call it. So they filed with the Secretary of State. Well, we immediately looked at their documents and realized, are you guys stupid? And I was saying, you guys are stupid. What you put here is dumb stuff. It doesn't pass the legal smell test for anything that they've filed or should have filed. They should have been rejected, but it wasn't. The Secretary of State did not reject it. My suspicion is, gee whiz, maybe the Secretary of State is corrupt as everybody else.
Yeah.
So they want to form a new country. And I was told specifically, Jerry Brown will be the president. And 2 years ago, I saw this behavior in him because of his affiliations and stuff. Actually, thanks to Katie Griman, her article that she did and outed Jerry Brown about the regional governance system that he was creating between Cuba, Mexico, California, Oregon, Washington, and British Columbia. Remember that? And remember the resignation of Hickenlooper. Remember him, the former governor? That's because of that article. And Tom Steyer was providing money to the first lady, or the first girlfriend anyway, of Hickenlooper. And then it became a scandal in Oregon, and he resigned. That's where that came from. Jerry Brown was out forming treaties illegally with other countries. And I dubbed him El Presidente at the time. Why? Because, you know, gee, he ran 3 times for president, didn't make it, might as well start his own country, right? I mean, that's just kind of a logic stream.
Paul,
Yeah.
not knowing a whole lot about that, why does he think he can separate?
Okay, that's a very good question. Of course the camera's running. I really believe they don't know what they're doing constitutionally. And it comes down to, David, raise your hand back there. He teaches one of our constitutional classes. And great question. Why does he think he has the authority to do this? I don't, you know, it's kind of like when you come in and you don't know the Constitution organically, like Anton Scalia is an originalist, constitutionalist, and why you should learn your Constitution, by the way. Go to the class, take it, learn about it, get your pocket Constitution, and read it, and understand what your rights are, because it terrorizes the left. Why do you think Lavoy Finicum was murdered? He was murdered to go teach a Constitution class in John Day up in Grant, Oregon. They wanted to stop the spread of the virus. That's why they murdered Lavoy. Now, to your question though, it's a pretty powerful document, isn't it? That murder notice came from the White House, by the way. Not afraid to say it. But to your question, what gives it they don't have the authority? I think they're ignorant about the Constitution. I don't think Jerry Brown understands the Constitution one bit.
They don't want it.
And by the way, what gives him the right to be a governor for a 3rd and 4th term? Something we are investigating.
Yeah.
Because the Constitution of California says 2 terms, period, max. Yet Jerry has 3 and 4. 16 years of radical communism under Jerry, National Socialism, and other stuff. But they don't get it. They don't get it that they can't do that. Constitutionally, we've solved this problem. Listen to this, guys. We're talking now the Civil War. This is an active thing going on. It's how lively can it get when we're talking about the Civil War constitutionally, and it's affecting us today. In the White decision versus Texas, that sealed the deal where there's no secessionists allowed. If you get into secessionism, you're talking sedition. A plebiscite voting won't do it. And I think it was that fact, I could be wrong here, but I think it was that fact that they realized they had to have a meeting to talk about what's the next level. Because they came out with this, and we were all over it and said, this will not meet any kind of constitutional muster to secede. So they already had it out, and then they had the meeting, and the meeting was to discuss the overthrow of California by violent means. And that's where this young man came in 2 weeks ago. I think that's what they're doing. And I think we have them in a place they don't want to be. Hey! Like Christopher came back here, he was eyeballing that. Is that what he's doing?
I'm looking for my computer.
Oh.
I think Debbie's
We will.
Oh,
So that's where we're going with this right now. I think, does that help you, David? He walked out. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's where we're going. They don't know. This is untried territory. The last time we had a state separation like ours was in 1861 with I almost said West Covina, with West Virginia. That was the last time it happened. And we're right on track to have a new state. But we got to get some people aligned with us to make that happen. And you know what? As each day goes by, those people are aligning more and more in our camp. And that's a good thing. I want to get into the whole thing about the sponsors, though. First of all, Taiwan. And what a great thing that Taiwan, this will tie right into this thing that we're talking about. Show you how important it is. How many are familiar with Taiwan? How many have been to Taiwan in the military? Oz back there. Got you guys. Well, how long are you back there, or over there?
well, I went over there to train some of their pilots.
What was the time?
70.
70s, not 79. That's when, okay. So Taiwan, a little bit of history. In the early 1930s, World War II breaks out in Japan, with Japan and China. And in China, you had a whole series of Japanese warlords in China, Western China in particular, and especially around Nanking. One of them was a guy by the name of Ryoichi Sasakawa. He was the big-time warlord there. Now, warlording is a little bit different than command and control armies. You just get a bunch of guys together. It's kind of, medieval. You get a bunch of guys together, pay them, and you go out and plunder and rape and kill and maim. Well, that's what he did. And he got to be very, very rich from his plunder. He's the guy who did the rape of Nanking. 20 million Chinese killed. At the end of the war, he had amassed so much wealth that our own CIA said, you've been tried for these war crimes, we're going to let you off. Because you're so rich and you know where all your gold is. He became a major player in the Bank of Tokyo. Those of you that drive Subarus, Mitsubishi, and a whole bunch of other different concerns. Now here's the point.
Take it up there.
He also became involved with the overthrow of a guy by the name of Sukarno in Indonesia in the 1950s. And in that overthrow, he met up with a guy, a young attorney out of San Francisco, who was basically saying, look, we got to solve your banking problems. And what turned out to be was a guy by the name of Edmund G. Brown was the attorney. Am I hitting? Listen, I said this today on the radio, it's a great line. I'm going to drag you kicking and screaming to the next dot. We're connecting dots here, aren't we? Do you get why the Sasakawa Peace Foundation is supporting CalExit? The Sasakawa kids and Jerry Brown grew up together as friends and family. Ryoichi's dead.
Scumbags.
And he was a main player in the funding of what? The United Nations. Just another dot for you.
Not very many tickets.
Yeah, I got you.
It's in that back.
Here's the last little bit about Trump and what you're going to see the picture really be clarified here. Donald Trump gets a call from the president of Taiwan. And who was fighting Ryoichi Sasakawa in China at the time Sasakawa was there? Who was it? Anybody know? Chiang Kai-shek. And who else? The Flying Tigers, right? So, John Wayne also, I think he was in one of those P-40s. Anyway, so we get the Sasakawa thing going on, we got Chiang Kai-shek going on. The Japanese lose, but Chiang Kai-shek is now confronted with Mao Zedong. And they ultimately push him where? To what island? Formosa, which is now Taiwan. It's a democratic society. They love freedom. They love America.
Yes, it is.
Over in Taiwan. They have been our best friend and we've never known it. So who started the driving, if you will, of that country? Ryoichi Sasakawa. Here's the other little bit that'll fit right into your little hat. And we're going to come out with it tonight. The defense minister of Japan, a young lady, 40, something like that, the granddaughter of Ryoichi Sasakawa. She's in line to be president and prime minister of Japan. So how many people have I drugged kicking and screaming to the next dot? You see what's going on here?
It's all connected.
Direct flights from China and Japan will only take a few hours in the way that they are modifying some of the islands around Japan and China to reach where? San Francisco. Direct flights. Those islands are being made right now.
World government.
Okay, with that happy news, I guess we're going to have, see tomorrow night, Hunting Hitler. That's show 3 of the 2nd season. See that? This is all connected, guys. It's all connected, and you need to see this. The History Channel is doing a fantastic job. National Geographic is putting out fake news. They ran a special that was done in 2006, Hunting Hitler. It's completely bogus because they have none of the evidence that people had starting in 2010, which is all the evidence from J. Edgar Hoover's files that account for him hunting Hitler. And it's being depicted now in this program. Hitler lived, guys, and his legacy is living on. His gold has all been stored in Indonesia, and they're influencing like crazy, aren't they? Do you get the dots there? All right, Larry, you got a number there?
Not yet, but we'll give you one last chance to buy a couple tickets. It's $144 value.
Turn the rush me out there. This is begging for money over there.
Anybody, any other takers?
Yeah, I'm about to pick.
Well, one thing I'd like to see, this is a real active thing, I consider it at your tea parties. I think we need, in all fairness, since, by the way, is being touted by Tom Steyer in his article yesterday in the LA Times, and I'll tell you in a second, I think we need to recount the votes in California, don't you? Don't you want to do that?
All the 2 million illegals?
I mean, we should at tea parties get together and demand a count of the ballots in California to see if Hillary Clinton really did get 2 million more votes out of California. And that's why she's got this vote, this is such bogus stuff. And we can use Megan Barr's articles, we can use Katie Grimes' articles that point out the fraud. Don't you think we ought to do that? Just for fun. Okay, Larry, you ready? Because I'm done.